So if you're like me, you like doing creative things, and sometimes that can be challenging. So through my experiences, I've developed a few things and come up with a few tricks that can often help with at least my version of creativity. And I wanted to take a moment to offer some advice that might help you when it comes time to tackle your next creative endeavor. So one of the number one things that I think that you can do when it comes time to being creative is to allow yourself time to be creative. A good example that I think can help put this into perspective is to think about falling asleep at night. And unless you're, someone who can do this, very few people I know can just lay down, put their head on the pillow and just be asleep like that. That seems quite rare. If you can do that, that's great. You're a very lucky person. But most of us, we don't just go from being awake to being asleep. There's this process of falling asleep, and it's really an active process. I would challenge you to approach creativity in a similar mindset, in that you need to take time to enter this creative mind space, and that it isn't something that simply turns on and off because you want it to in that moment. Taking time to start and recognize that your brain is not in the perfect position and not having the perfect chemistry to be creative right when you start. But if you give yourself that time and allow for your brain to get where you need it to be, the creative results can eventually improve tremendously throughout the course of that creative work session. I want you to try to schedule your creative time. And by that, I mean actually put it on your calendar. If you're not using some kind of calendar, either a physical one or an online calendar, I highly recommend you start doing that because controlling your time is another great way to stay creative. But along that same line, you need to block off time to be creative. You need to treat it as part of your job, as your work, as your research, as whatever it is that you are doing. And that time should be laid and it should not move for anything. Treat it like a workout plan. It's on the calendar. Ideally, if we could have creative buddies that we go to the creative gym with, that would be awesome. I don't know about you, but I have a hard time creating when there's another person in the room. So you have to hold yourself accountable. And that can be difficult, but I have found that scheduling that time in advance, making sure it's at the same time every day of every week, really helps me get in a routine of knowing that it's time to do this sort of thing. And also it's great because if I know that that time is on the calendar, all the ideas I have along the way between sessions, I know that I'm going to have an outlet in which to finally put those things together. As with the first point, I want to make sure you are scheduling enough time for yourself. If you're going to block out some time on the calendar, make sure it's long enough for you to actually feel like you can get something done. If you're like me and you have 1 hour to get work done, it can really feel paralyzing. It feels like I can't get enough done because I'm not going to be able to get into the mindset that I need to succeed, and that very well might be the case. So absolutely make sure you schedule enough time for yourself and make sure that you don't reschedule it for anything. Treat it as part of your job and treat it as one of the most important things you do and get it on the calendar. This one is somewhat personal, but I'm still going to recommend you try it, which is to clean your workspace. So wherever it is that you like to be creative, whether that's making music or writing poetry or editing short films, whatever it is that you like to do, I recommend you get the aesthetics of that place to work for you. Our surroundings greatly impact how we create and how we think about the things that we are thinking about while creating. So try to make sure that your environment is in a way that works for you. Try being creative at different points during the day, or even maybe different days during the week. Try working in the morning versus working in the afternoon versus working in the evening. See which one works better for you and see what kind of results you get artistically and creatively. Try working in a different space. If you're always in the same room and that's creating some sort of problems, try working outside, go to a coffee shop, work in a different studio if you have access to one. Just try changing up your location and see if the results are better or if they're worse. At least it gives you some information, and you might know that your own setting that you work in is great, but it gives you information. One thing that can be really great is to work when you feel creative and when you feel like you want to do this sort of thing and you feel like you have something to say. So of course, lean into that, but also try doing creative work when you don't feel like it, which I know can be really difficult. You kind of have to force yourself to do this, but if we only do creative work when we feel creative, we're often not going to get nearly as much done as we could. And even if you don't feel creative when you start working, it's entirely possible you will if you give yourself time to get into that creative mindset. So if you don't feel like working and being creative, just try. Force yourself to do it a couple of times, see what the results are. You might be pleasantly surprised. Okay, so we've talked about mindset and how you want to make sure you're in a creative mindset and how that might take time. It might take other things as well, like caffeine. If you are a coffee drinker or a tea drinker or maybe a soda drinker with lots of caffeine, and that's something that you need to be creative, then make sure you're doing that when the time comes to be creative, especially if you are on a deadline. I have had a number of days in my life where I thought I was having the worst day I've ever had in my life. And then I had another cup of coffee and I realized I was fine and I just needed more coffee. I drink less coffee than I used to. For a while, it was something else. But I want you to be aware of how much caffeine you might use, how much whatever you might use. Are you a person who needs to go for a run first to be creative? Are you a person who needs to have done yoga or meditation first? You need a glass of wine before you're creative. Whatever it is that helps you get that creative ball rolling, lean into that, be aware of it, and use it to your advantage each time. I'm going to recommend you work with what you have because what you have is probably plenty. Now, I don't mean to assume that everyone who might see this has access to all sorts of wonderful technology and facilities, but I will say that in this day and age, the amount of information that's available, the amount of tools that are available, the amount of technology, software, hardware that's more accessible than it ever has been, it's just at a tremendous all-time high, which means it's usually pretty easy to start generating content of your choice in some medium or another. What I don't want you to do is fall into the trap of thinking you need X, Y, and Z before you can do the thing that you want to complete, right? I want to make this album. I want to drop this EP that's going to make me famous throughout the world, but I don't have that plugin suite yet that I really need to make sure my album sounds the way I want it to. I mean, maybe. That's true, maybe. But more likely than not, you are simply using that as an excuse to not try creating art. You might be afraid to create something. We're all afraid to fail. We're all afraid to try to do something and not succeed, but you have to dive in. As time goes on and we all become more successful, hopefully we will gain more tools to help us with our creativity, but the odds are incredibly good that whatever you have access to right now is enough to make something absolutely amazing. The free software, the free tutorials online, hop on YouTube and just search any technical topic and you can find some wonderful advice on how to get started on the thing that it is that you want to work on. One of the things that helps me tremendously is creating a roadmap, coming up with some kind of plan or blueprint that helps me not have so many decisions to make along the way. I think that the fear of sitting down to a blank session in a digital audio workstation or a blank piece of staff paper or a blank storyboard or a blank canvas, when you sit down and you just have that blank thing in front of you, that can be terrifying. It can be a very crippling sort of fear that prevents you from advancing artistically. And the thing that always helps me get over that is to plan and make some kind of roadmap. So what I mean by that is do things like journal, do things like make charts, make graphs, make spreadsheets, make plans, whatever it is that you can do to help create some kind of structure for your creative working time, that can help you a lot and it can help you get over that paralyzing fear of where do I get started. The idea is to give some form of shape to your project before you dive in. I don't know about you, but rarely can I just sit down at the piano or sit down in some sort of creative avenue and just sort of intuit from some other place and come up with really good, meaningful art. I'm not really capable of that. I have to plan in advance and I have to be diligent about it. And if you're new to creativity, you might think that that seems somehow inauthentic or untrue to you, but that's not the case at all. You're the person coming up with these plans and these roadmaps and these structures, and the more you do it, the better you'll get. And the more you do it, the more that will intuitively enter your workflow so you don't necessarily have to be so strict about it in the future. But planning, and more planning can really help you see the entirety of your project, the gestalt of it, if you will, and it can really remove some of the fear and anxiety that goes along with trying to create. Another thing that is wonderful personally for me is to make to-do lists. This is one of the best things in my experience that you can do. It's very similar to this idea of planning and building a roadmap, but even a little bit more concrete. Similar to what I said before, quite often we might not have divine inspiration raining upon us when it's convenient for us. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't happen at all. I'm not the sort of person who just sort of comes up with ideas. So when it comes time to be creative, I need to be really diligent with what I'm doing. And making a to-do list for the time that I am being creative in that moment can really help me focus and get results. That means taking a diligent and sequential approach to what it is that you're doing, and don't be afraid at how trite some of the things you're writing down on your to-do list might seem. Keep in mind, no one else sees your to-do list. It is yours and only yours. So whatever goes on it is irrelevant to the rest of the world, but it might help you get somewhere. So for example, if I'm sitting down for some kind of music-related session, I literally might write out something incredibly simple like create a new melody. At the very least, I have some sort of guidance in that moment. I could add subpoints to that. I could say create a melody, create a counter melody, put those together to create a phrase, and then create a contrasting phrase. By having that workflow in front of me, suddenly I'm not just hitting notes on the piano and jotting down ideas. I have some degree of purpose and intention behind the decisions I'm making. Now, of course, don't be afraid to break from those things and break from this to-do list and these plans that you've made, but they might help you get started, and sometimes that's the biggest help that we all need with being creative. Don't forget to move, okay? That might mean just getting up, stretching, going for a walk, going for a run, doing some kind of exercise. Ideally, you do this every day, and it's a part of who you are, because taking care of ourselves is a huge part of making sure that we are healthy from a creative standpoint. But in the middle of your workflow, don't be afraid to just stand up, go for a walk around your house, walk around the block, do some push-ups, do jumping jacks, do some pull-ups, do whatever you need to do to just get some movement in your creative mindset. So one of the things that I will do frequently is just get up from my workspace and simply go walk around. I actually do this at work. I'll just get up from my office and start wandering. I'll go for a lap around the building. I'll go check my mailbox. I'll do something that simply gets me up and moving. And doing so, when I return to working, I'm often more focused. I have a clear sight of what it is that I'm looking for, and my overall creativity is improved. I highly recommend you take notes during your creative sessions. I don't mean taking notes like, oh, you're a recording engineer and you're in the studio and you need to write down which takes are good. I'm talking notes to your future self to help you get back into your creative work after some amount of time has passed. If you're like me, you've done some work, you wrote something down, you made some kind of art, you sit back down to work on it and you think, what the hell was I thinking? What was this? Where was I going? Why was I doing this? What is this? This isn't good. It's clearly not finished. I left this thing unfinished. I spent 3 days away from it. I came back and I have no idea what to do. If you've ever done computer programming, that might sound familiar, because if you're familiar with coding in any way, ideally you should be leaving notes and annotations behind for you and potentially others in the case of coding. But even in the world of just your own artistic adventure, you want to leave notes for yourself, leave breadcrumbs that help you get back to where you were. Whether this is by hand, typing them out, I usually use like a tablet with a pen and I jot things down in like a dedicated notebook file that is just my artistic notes that help me remember what I was doing. What was this melody? What was this chord sequence? Where are these ideas going? What is the bigger picture of what I've accomplished today? In addition to having these available when you then sit down to create the next time, having written them down will help solidify this in your memory. You will carry those thoughts with you between work sessions and help come up with solutions to problems you didn't even know you had. It really enters your subconscious in a very great way, and it really helps with the end product, because you gain so much time and you gain so much efficiency. And depending on your line of work, efficiency might be the thing that helps separate you from someone else that might get you this job or get you this amount of success that you are after. And lastly, the last thing I will recommend is that if you are having any sort of difficulty creatively, try switching it up. And by that I mean try something completely different from what it is that you've been doing. Let's say you're focused primarily on making lo-fi beats right now. Instead, try doing a jazz fusion combo. I don't know, try something you've never done before. If you're working mostly with synthesizers to help create new sounds, try working with sample-based products instead. If you're working with one piece of technology or one piece of software, try moving to another and see how it changes your creative flow and your creative mindset. You might be amazed at how much changing things up just a little bit can really impact the way that it is that you are creating things. So, with all of that being said, go make some art.